Hello, it's another G Spot experience with your girl, but give me a second. You know how I always have to start my live Instagram. Okay, we're all set. Another G Spot experience with your girl, Germaine. And today, for today's coffee break, I have a special guest in studio that I'm excited about and about what we're going to talk about. So, give me a second. Let me just give you a little insight. Make sure you have what you're drinking. I have my water, and you may have your coffee, tea, juice, smoothie, whatever you're drinking today. But let me just get started. Okay. So you know how we do. We take a pause and we pour in a purpose. But in today's conversation, it's as real as it gets. We're joined by, and I'm going to bring her up in a few moments, Miss Thomas RN. She goes by, okay? A powerhouse reproductive health and sexuality educator. And the bold voice behind, I called it Puberty Talks, but you know what? She's going to bring a real twist to this topic. But she's putting out her new journal series for teens. So hold on, let me bring Ms. Thomas RN into the conversation and we'll go from there. Hey,
Good
Ms.
morning.
Thomas RN, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
So we are here and we are talking about teens. And I said puberty, when we were growing up, it was about puberty. But today,
Yeah.
these teens have put a whole new twist on it, huh?
Whole new twist. Whole new twist. Whole new twist. Yes.
But we are publishing two books at one time. So you have, I'm going to let you tell it, okay? And I'll pull it up on the screen while you're talking about it.
Okay. Okay. So good morning, everyone. Miss Thomas RN here for you. I decided that I wanted to write books on puberty because, I've been in this health field for over 25 years, particularly in the area of women's health, reproductive health. And I've come across a lot of young women, teenagers, young men. And, my job as a nurse is to teach about health education, provide them with health care, birth control, whatever reproductive health insists for them. And, I did come across a lot of women who really don't know what their bodies look like, how they feel, what's going on in their bodies. And so I decided that I wanted to write a book so that I can teach women and empower women and, let them know this is your body. This is what's going on in your body. And so this empowers you because then you make right decisions about your body. I've also worked in the field where I've had women who come and they had to have special services because they
Mm,
put themselves in a not so nice situation. And
okay.
so I want to give enough information and empower them so that they know, yes, if I decide to do something with my body, let's do it the right way. Let me talk about it. I want you to know what is going on and, how to prevent, certain things from happening. So I decided to write these books.
Yes. So what's interesting is I know it's been some time. We published your first book some years ago. And
Yes.
but I love the fact that you really focus on your area of expertise and you want to bring that to the market from a health conscious standpoint. And so when you came to me, you said, listen, I have two books. We're doing two books at one time, one for girls, one for boys. And I thought it was, I mean, first of all, what you've been able to do. And for anyone out there that have young teenage children, um, I don't know, what ages would you say they should really start tapping their young children into really getting an understanding of their body themselves?
Well, I'm going to say when puberty starts, I would say the book is appropriate for age 8. Let's start at
Okay,
age 8. And
okay,
let's go all the way even past 50 years old. Um,
absolutely. Yeah.
But puberty today seems to start just a little bit sooner than when I was growing up. And so children, young people are more exposed to sexual health by TV, media, so it's important that we start early. I always encourage parents, if your child is asking, then tell them.
Absolutely.
Don't hide anything from them. And if you don't know what to say, um, you can always go on reputable sites. You can go to your local clinic, to the hospitals, and get the information. But the information is out there. It's out
Okay.
there. It's out there. And so the books just help a little bit because talking about puberty and sexual health can be a little challenging for some parents. Maybe they don't know what to say or they don't know how to say it. So I kind of just broke everything down in the book where it's easy enough for the child as well as the parent to understand and explain to your children. Oh,
You have made it so detailed, and the great thing is we're publishing it in color. And so it makes it even more interesting to draw in the young people. But when
yes.
I say you broke down these books to talk about the anatomy of the body, really, as you're going through something, it's like a everything you need type of guide
Yes.
while growing up. And I like the idea. It's not just for young people, it's for adults also, because how many of you out there really don't know what's happening in your body?
Right.
So we're
And
gonna
this
have to
is
get
true.
her. Yeah, we're gonna have to get her to do a book on menopause next.
Oh, that's up next. That's up next. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
So I did want to just I'm gonna put the book up while we're talking so they can see,
Okay.
okay? So as you can see, she did one for girls, hashtag period exclamation exclamation, and hashtag bro grow up. And both of these are guides to entering into womanhood and becoming a man. So if you have young people, I encourage you, you must invest in these books. And they are available for pre-orders, and it's in the description. I'm going to just put it in there in the comment section right now so you don't have to miss out. Give me a second. Let me add it to our comments. And okay, I did add it in the comment section. Let me do that on Instagram also. So you don't have to be left out. So let's talk about a few things, right?
Yes.
Um, why puberty education must be honest, culturally relevant, and affirming. From your standpoint, because you've been doing this over 25 years.
Yes.
So why is that so important?
Um, in this day and age, especially this day and age with our administration in office, women they're not getting the information that they need so that they can be in control of their bodies. So as a nurse in this field, I see many disadvantaged women who don't have access. And a lot of that starts from when they're younger. They aren't given the information and the tools that they need to know what's going on in their body. So as they get older, they don't know. They don't know they have access to this information. And then there's sometimes when they're put in situations, like I said, where they're challenged. So you may have to get an abortion because you didn't know about birth control. You didn't know about birth control because you didn't know what it can do to your body. And so that all gets intertwined together. So it is very important to empower young women from as early as possible, so that we get the information that we need and you can be in control of your body. you know um Fortunately, in New York State, we are in a state where we have access to a lot of resources, whereas other states, the southern states mostly, they don't.
Mhm.
So this information is here. It's just that we don't know about it. And so I'm constantly pushing young people and women, listen, go to that local clinic, go to the pharmacy, even go on Google, go to reputable sites, but get the information. It's very important to your health. Get the information.
Absolutely. So once again, I cannot stress enough how detailed you've created these two books to be to really get the information out in the marketplace. So even if there's anyone out there that may watch this even on a replay, that you know these books can be an asset to your organization, or you want to connect with Miss Thomas RN, please make sure you just hit me up and I can get that information to her. But if not, click on the link and make sure you go and pre-order your copy. Her book is coming out June 12th, which is in a few weeks. And so you can physically have it in hand to share with people and bring young people together, right? To
Yes.
talk about it, to discuss it. What are the concerns? Are you finding that as you are meeting with young people that there's certain things that they won't touch on, or today are young people just more vocal and open about sex and what's
Oh,
happening?
they're very vocal about sex. They're very, listen, I have taught many topics in health. I think talking about sex to young women and men has got to be the most interesting conversation at a table. It is the most interesting. And the thing is, once you start to talk about it, then you grab their attention. So now, if I grab your attention, we can open this discussion up to any and everything. But they are not shy when it comes to talking about reproductive health in their bodies because they want to know. They want to know.
What a difference from when
Yes.
it was us being young teenagers. It was taboo, hush hush, can't
Oh,
talk about
yes.
it, don't want
Yes.
nobody to know, while we're
Yes.
just suffering in silence. But I
Yes.
love the fact that these young people today take ownership of it and they're
Yes.
not afraid. So now, since they're going to talk about it, let's equip you with the proper and correct information.
Absolutely. And,
And
and
that's
that's what I would love to do. Back
mhm,
in my day, my mom did talk about my body and what's going on with puberty, but it wasn't comprehensive. It wasn't
okay.
comprehensive. And so when it came to that conversation about sex, it was just don't do it because I told you not to do it.
That's
That was it.
right.
That
That's
was
right.
it.
No
And
babies.
And of course, I'm 17, well, 16 rather, when I started dating. And now
Mhm.
I'm getting introduced to, new things. The hormones are coming out. I don't know what's going on
Yes,
with my body, but I know if I'm touched in a certain way, it feels good. So now I'm curious. I'm
absolutely.
curious. And so birth control wasn't spoke about in my home. And so I was just one of those teenagers who had to find out that, if you do this, this is going to happen. And it
Yes.
did. And I have no regrets. But that is one of the reasons why I really like talking about this, because there are a lot of teen pregnancies and they can't be prevented. You just have to have the proper information and the proper tools. So,
So you have a son,
yes.
and talk about how instrumental your son was to the creation of this vision.
Sure, sure. So when I decided to write the book for the girls, I took my time with it. I wanted to make sure that I had everything in the book to talk about puberty and sexual health. And so one day, well, let me go back. The last chapter of the girls' book talks about the first chapter in the boys' book. And I did that because I wanted young women to know that, yes, we're going to talk about your body, but you have to understand why your body is important to the male body, reproduction. And
Mhm.
so I was, trying to find pictures to put in the book of the penis. And I actually found the picture and I put it up on the screen. And my son walked in and he said, Mommy, why are you looking at that? Why are you looking? Mind you, he's 12 years old. What?
Mhm.
So I said, do you know what this picture is? And he goes, yes, that's a penis. And I said, okay, do you know what it does? And that opened up a whole conversation with my
Really?
12-year-old. So at this time now, I'm done with the female book. And I said, you
Yes.
know what? If he's asking me these questions, it is only right that I have to write a book for the boys. And
That's
so I
good.
went right back to writing. And then that's how we came up with this book.
That's good. That is
Yeah.
so good that you're doing it as a package for both boys and girls, because but what's good is that he was even open to talk about it with you.
Yes, yes. So in my household, I have an older son. He's 33 years old, and I have an older daughter, 30, and then I have my 12-year-old. But
Mm-hmm.
when my 30-year-old was my 12-year-old's age, my
Mm-hmm.
conversation with them was, how was school?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
What'd you eat for lunch? Did you have sex yet? That was a conversation in my house. I was open all the time, and I made my son at one point stand in front of a mirror, the older son, stand in front of the mirror, and we went through the parts of his body with him, but I wanted him to know. And I
Yeah.
said, I tell parents, if your child is asking, they heard it from somewhere. Give them the correct information, because if not, they're going to find out from the wrong people, and they're going to put themselves in a situation that they don't want to be in. So it's never too late to start talking about your body, and it's never too early, but have the discussion. And
Yes.
again, if you can, as a parent, this is the reason why I created these books, because it will walk you through that and give you some guidance to help you talk to your child.
Wow. So let me just pull it up on the screen. And I do want to thank some of the people that are joining in. So Sandy Prasad, who
Hi,
you worked with
Cindy.
before. And
Yes, yes.
actually, it was you that referred her to me to publish her dad's book that became a #1 bestseller.
Oh,
So
great.
yeah. And Tenaria, she said at one point she was laughing real hard about what we were talking about with these young kids.
Oh,
And then we have those on Instagram. Hey, Jesse, for joining in, and Gerard. Good to see you guys. So, hold on. I want to bring this back up because we're just going to bring this to a close, but let's share the book so people can, once again, in the chat and in the description, you'll be able to find the actual. Oh, here we go. All right. So you'll be able to find the link to pre-order the copy. The QR codes right now are on the screen if you want to scan those real quick. But is there any parting words, Miss Thomas RN, that you want to leave with the audience?
um, yes. Have the discussion as soon as possible with your child. Have the discussion. It will make a huge difference as they grow older. But the
Yes.
more information that our children know about their bodies, the more empowered they are, and the better choices they're going to make, when they get older. So I encourage you to please have this discussion with your child.
Perfect. So, in closing, one thing I learned, puberty was our era of time. Sex is today's period of time. So you know what? That puberty talk, we're gonna just put a slash or X through it, and we're gonna just say sex talk, okay?
Sex talk. There we go.
So let's be clear. Sex talk is not, or puberty is not just a biological process. It's an emotional, social, and spiritual awakening. And with voices like Miss Thomas RN at the table, we're creating safer, stronger paths for the next generation. So sip slow, learn deep, equip boldly. This is a puberty slash sex talk, the G Spot way. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to post this one more time so people can see it. And go and get your copy today. Pre-order your copy today so we can make this a #1 bestseller and actually just get the message out to everyone that needs it. And we'll see you in 2 more days for the G Spot experience. Have a wonderful weekend. It's a holiday weekend, and have fun, but be safe. And young people, if you are watching, make sure you get a copy of this book so you know what to
Yeah.
do.
Thank you for having me, Germaine. I appreciate it. Thank you
Oh
so
my
much.
gosh, I'm so excited about it, and they're going to be super excited once they get this information that you've put together. So let's make this a #1 bestseller.
Let's make it a #1. So thank you everyone for your support.
Thank you. I will talk to you soon. Have a great day,
Okay.
okay?
Have a great day, everyone.
All right, bye bye now.